Okay, people, today let's take a quick look at the Hasbro Transformers the Movie Studio Series Thundercracker. Oh, it's not very often I do an overview on a Transformer because my Transformer buying is very few and far between. I'm what you call a fair-weather Transformers fan. I wait until I see something I really, really like. And if I'm not seeing something I really, really like, then I kind of drift away. I stop paying attention for a while. That's when I start stepping out with import companies and their non-transforming Transformers. And as much as I love everyone I've gotten for the most part, from YOLO Park to Blockies to 3-0, they don't world build near as good as Hasbro does. First of all, let's make this intro as long as possible. If you don't know, I'm a G1 guy. Pretty much seasons 1 and 2 of the original series. And part of the movie. I get some characters from the movies, but then I pass on others for whatever reason. I don't have a Galvatron, which is crazy. And 2, I don't care to transform my Transformers. That's why I kind of gravitate towards the non-transforming Transformers, because they're clean, they're crisp, they don't have a lot of stuff hanging off of them to do things that I don't care that it does. But man, from what I'm seeing, Hasbro is really getting into the groove of making some clean Transformers that do transform, but I'm not gonna. So, if you're here to find out how this turns into a plane, you're in the wrong spot. I love figures. I love characters. So I'm gonna take a look at this. I know it sounds weird, but 1, I love poking the bear, and 2, I don't wanna. I just get frustrated. To hell with all that. First up, looking at the box, it's what I see a lot when I do look at Transformers. Like I said, that's not as often as it should, but Thundercracker has brought me back around, and I've bought many in the past few weeks. There's a window to see the figure, there's some kind of logos and stuff, there's some artwork of Thundercracker, and then Jet Mode, Transformers Studio Series. The side extends that artwork on around and shows some of the arc with a hole in the side. On the back, there's pretty promotional pictures. Picture from the movie, which is kind of neat. And then just a very, very quick rundown of Thundercracker and what he's doing in that movie. It says prepares for battle, but this picture is the crew about to get chunked out of the side of Astro Train, isn't it? Warning, small parts may be generated. Do not put them in your mouth. On the side, there's that artwork again with all the labels on top. Transformers the movie, Thundercracker on bottom, Legalese barcode. Let's get this open, see what's going on here. And this is what I mean by clean. Just flat planes, a lot of blue, some gray, some black, some attitude. Thundercracker is happy to be in Studio Series. And this is also what I mean by clean. This is the last Thundercracker I got. I think this is Siege, and it definitely has that aesthetic to it. It is a busy body. Literally. There is so much going on everywhere. And at the time, I was happy to get all these because everything was in scale, everything looked good together, and I just went about my business. But my first love is the original series, and man, you got me, Hasbro. It's a running joke at this point, but you keep one-upping yourself on purpose. It's marketing! Well, this is the Tetra Jet. I think they came out with a regular jet version later on, but it was in a 2-pack with Skywarp, and I don't think I got either of those. I can't remember. Doesn't matter. I've got this now, and my life is complete. Now, you can see that it's missing some things. I haven't got to accessories yet. We'll add those on in that segment, but until then, I'm just gonna sit here and bask in this glory because, oh man, it's Thundercracker. I know I keep saying that, but I can't help it. It has these intakes on the sides of the head coming up, giving them kind of that regal look. Not as regal as Starscream with the crown and such, but you know what I mean. The angles to the body parts, especially the arms, they're just cubes, but not sharp cubes. The edges are a bit angled off themselves. Bit of a taper going down to the hand to add kind of a muscle look to it. Crotch cover, no extra lines or any of that thing. A couple of panels and a couple of bolts, and we're good to go. Same with the chesticles, kind of that pecky look with these protruding forward. And then yes, it is a translucent cockpit in the middle of the chest. Have the rectangles for the upper legs coming down to the chunky lower legs, that classic Seeker look. It does round off on the back, giving you a hint of what it transforms into, well, besides the wings and the cockpit, but that's also part of it. I always love the thrusters at the feet. It gives them a sense of speed if they're flying in robot mode, which I also love. If you're not going to transform it, then you're going to have these guys soaring across the sky like this. So that works out great for me. That also gives us a look at the back, and staring in places, there's a hollowness because of the engineering, because of what had to be done to make this side look as good as it does. I hate to think about it that way, but at the same time, I'll always look at it this way. So I don't mind too much. Plus, as I said, there's still things to add on back here that kind of covers in places. So it's not as bad as it looks. It's as bad as it looks right now, but it won't when we get to the part that makes it less as bad as it looks. You know what I mean? Have a lighter blue at the vents under the knees, and then this gunmetal color, the black down at the feet with some silver in the middle. The red and white stripes on the wings, which I always loved about Thundercracker. He's not my favorite. In fact, if I were to rank Seekers, he'd be third. With Starscream probably first, just because of him always being out front, and then Skywarp because of that beautiful black and purple. But I always liked the red and white because it seemed to stand out against the blue. It could have been more boring. I'm glad they added those. And then there's the Decepticon symbols on the wing, upside down, which I dig. And I like that they're not prominent either. The purple isn't outlined. It kind of just fades into the background a little bit with the overall color scheme. But then as I zoomed in on earlier, there's Thundercracker's face. And I like that they give each one its own personality. Full-on smile look. And that just makes me more excited. Well, that and how much I love this overall look, it makes me excited for Skywarp and Starscream at a future date. What makes me most excited is how much I'm liking this look. The clean lines to everything, the animation feel of it. Yeah, give me the other colorways. Going over articulation, there is a ball joint at the head, at the neck. Maybe it's just a hinge. Can I turn it? Yes, there is side to side. You gotta kind of work it in, and then a lot of up, not a lot of down. Shoulders can rotate all the way around if the wings got out of the way. That's one of the things about the older ones. The wings would snap back a little bit. This goes to here and back that far, and then hinges out. There's a swivel at the bicep. Hinge at the elbow goes, little past 90. Rotation at the wrist, rotation at the waist. Crotch flap flips up so you can swing the leg forward this far and then back and then out all the way, better than a lot of Spider-Man. Swivel at the thigh. Hinge at the knee goes back 90. Not a lot going on at the ankle, but it does rock to the inside that far, and then there's a toe joint that kicks all the way up. Not as superposable as your human type figures, but way more dynamic than older Transformers. But we also still have to spruce them up with some accessories. There are these, which when I first dropped them out of the package, I thought, what in the hell? But these are actually the wingtips with the 3 pegs. That just adds a bit of extra angle to it. It makes it more wing-like. It flows. It has this little nub and then the flow out the back there. Gives them more wing spread too. And it kind of softens. A minute ago it was just flat. It did look odd, I get it. But now, ooh, yeah, that looks good. There's also the tail for the plane that can go down in the usual spot on the ankles where we see a lot of the older Seekers with the thing. Wait, okay, there you go. That goes from there to there. And yeah, that's okay. I could live with that. But there's also an option for this. Get them up and out of the way. Keep them on the back. Can you do that? Maybe this? The instructions show this. It flows out with the wings, but it doesn't hurt my feelings to do this either. Kind of cover up the inside, kind of make it flatter across and from the top. And I'll never see it from the front. I'll just, what is going on back here? I think that's a lot cleaner than putting them down on the leg. Because I feel like this is more animation accurate, or at least closer to what I remember in all. Except one more thing. We also have the null rays. There we go. That is icing on the cake. I think a lot of the times they're connected to the shoulders, but I like this because you can have it up on top if you want. I like that because it's easier to get into poses. You can do it out, well, no, you can't. It runs into the wing. Maybe that's why they connected it here instead of here. It would have came up and into the wing since it doesn't move back and out of the way. Ha ha! I do notice messing around with it. I pulled this back and without knowing the transformation, it does like to come apart now. Wait a second, is that keyed? Let's see. That looks like it goes down on that. And then if I push it back on it, oh, okay, that locks it in place. Fixed it. Well, I say fixed it. I know that's part of the transformation, but to hell with the transformation. Size-wise, up to the top of his head, Thundercracker is about 6 1/8, and then up to here is about 6 3/4, which is pretty much dead on to his siege height. And appropriately enough, works great next to Scourge, since, you know. Then there's also Cyclonus, just because they go together. I'm still tracking down, digging up, and waiting for a lot of the Studio Series stuff, but I did get 86 Optimus Prime in this week, and ooh, it's really good. And then I opened up Spike and Bumblebee that I've had for a while now. Like I said way back, I really like the YOLO Park, the AMK Pro Series and the AMK Non-Pro Series. But I feel like it may be a while before we see Thundercracker in that line. And then all the other Transformers that Hasbro has readily available. So I love these. It's a slow burn, but here, man, the collection just pow. And here it is with the One Oak Customs Devastator and Bruticus. I have a link to his Instagram down in the description if you want to see more, and you want to, because, oh man, look at these. These make me, okay, I passed on the Constructicons because I have this, but the Combaticons that are coming out right now are tempting just for their robot modes. I don't need it for Bruticus because I have this. I'm completely good with these two guys in the display. So at the end of the day, Hasbro, more of this. And I know you've been running with Studio Series for a while, but yeah, more and more. Like I said, I keep saying building a display of imports, but none of those other lines get really deep. The larger scale ones. I know Blockies and YOLO Park have the smaller figures that they're just pumping out, and I've been tempted, especially since Blockies release a smaller Devastator and Bruticus, and they're about to do a few more. But I'm already this deep into these, the larger scale. I like bigger figures. So, and I also say that every time I run across some Blockies, and it's like, oh, those are cool. But no, I can't do it. This brings me back in. This works into things that I already have. It's Transformers. I may not do another video for another year or two. But when I get them, I enjoy them. How's that? Unless I have to transform. I swear, I opened a stack of boxes in the past couple of weeks, and I pull out the instructions, and I go to transform, and I just get pissed off. One, it's so small. Two, there's no words. Arrows, I miss it when it says 180 degrees, flip this over, turn this around, what's this? I gotta get my peepers out, look on the figure. I just want the character. I don't want the alt mode, don't care. So, I apologize if you came looking for something else, but I'm sure there's plenty of other videos out there that get into the nitty gritty of what it can actually do. I just wanted Thundercracker, the guy. And that's what I got. That's what I like. Your inner John mileage may vary. Bye.